California. The president's apology for his comments and his commitment to bringing the Special Olympics to the White House are important first steps in shedding light on this important issue. Oftentimes we don't realize that when we laugh at comments like this, it hurts millions of people throughout the world. And her husband, the governor of California, ONeill, also had a thought. Watch.
Well, I didn't see it, but I heard about it, and I know, because of conversations I had with the president about Special Olympics, since I'm the international coach of Special Olympics, I know where his heart is at. He loves Special Olympics, and he will do everything he can to help Special Olympics. And every one of us sometimes makes a mistake by something comes out of your mouth and you say, oops, I wish I wouldn't have said that.
Not me.
And no, of course not.
Taking one more question.
I had many of those. Trust me.
Thank you very much.
Anyway, good to see you.
Now to one woman's inspiring story of triumph over adversity. You may have seen Rebecca Alexander on the Today Show. We met her earlier this week, but it feels like we've known her much longer. Her brother is our correspondent, Peter Alexander, and tonight he shares a story very close to his heart as doctors search for a way to stop a rare and cruel condition that's slowly robbing Rebecca of both sight and sound.
Pick up your speed. Here we go.
This is my sister Rebecca. I call her Becky. She just turned 30, and as you can see, she has more energy than anyone in the room.
Yeah, come on.
She teaches 15 spin classes a week, practices yoga, and works as a psychotherapist.
That's me. That's Kenny.
Becky's also my best friend, the backbone of our family.
Very pretty girl.
If you met her, you'd have no idea my sister has a disability.
The doctors told me that by 30 I would be blind. That was when I was 12. So in some ways you could say that I'm sort of on borrowed time.
Becky has Usher syndrome type 3, a rare genetic disorder that'll likely leave her completely blind and deaf within the next decade. And so far, there's no treatment or cure. Becky first started noticing problems when she was in elementary school.
I remember when we were on vacation once, and there was a huge tree, and there was a tree trunk, and I ran my head right into it really hard, and I had this huge gash, and I was crying, and I came to you, and it wasn't even the pain of it, it was just the shock. I think it was fear.
You just didn't see it?
I didn't see it. It just wasn't there.
Throughout high school and college, her vision and hearing continued to deteriorate. Today, she's lost most of her peripheral and night vision. Walking down a New York City street, this is what Becky sees. And that field of vision is getting progressively smaller.
It feels like the background noise is a little softer.
Without the powerful hearing aid she depends on, her world is silent. Researchers are actively at work to find a cure.
Our scientists are trying to find a drug that can halt or slow the progress of this disease so that the vision that people like Becky have now, that they can keep that vision longer and keep their hearing longer.
Becky hasn't let her disability define her. She's been skydiving and bungee jumping, and recently took a hiking trip to Peru with our mom.
If it were up to me, I wish I had 6 arms and 8 legs so that I could just be doing so many things. I have so much I want to do, and I don't know how much time I have left.
That's what I admire most about my sister, her courage, her ability to live in each moment, despite the challenges that lie ahead. Peter Alexander, NBC News, New York.
You can learn more about Usher syndrome type 3 and read a blog from Peter and Rebecca on our website, nightly.msnbc.com. Up next.
Report. We all know about the much chronicled crisis of absentee fathers, especially in black households in America. It's a problem the president has spoken about often. For black families alone, the number of single-parent homes has doubled in a generation. Some attempts at a solution have worked. It's something our friend Al Roker looked at recently for a documentary on the subject, and Al files tonight's Making a Difference report.
Marnie McCoy, principal at Link Community School in Newark, New Jersey, says 80% of her students are growing up without their fathers, and that's a worry.
Developmentally, this is the transition period in a young person's life.
A time, she says, when boys like 7th grader Haru Kirkland especially need their father's steady presence.
Sometimes I used to feel like, where did he go when he's coming back? Why did he leave in the first place?
In 1996, Haru was one of the babies whose births we witnessed while reporting on the high incidence of African-American men who fall out of their children's lives, particularly in the inner city. Haru's father, Keith Kirkland, a veteran of the First Gulf War, was there to pledge his love to his family.
Oh, what's wrong, baby?
Everything I do now is for them, the both of them. It's not for me anymore.
But a few weeks later, Keith lost his job, then went missing. Diagnosed with post-traumatic stress syndrome, this seemingly well-intentioned man has over the years disappeared for weeks at a time.
The condition I was in, they wouldn't be missing too much anyway.
I do wish that he would be here because it would be more fun. Bro, mine.
Haru's mother and other adults in his life do their best to fill the void.
A young man who's trying to define what it means to be a man and really enter into his manhood. His father would have said to him, son, this is what it means to be a man. Be a person of character. Respect yourself and respect others, so that somebody who's in a gang won't tell them, if you want to be a man, this is what you do. You kill other people, you join a gang, you get somebody pregnant. When a father does that first, anything else that happens after that is irrelevant.
Perhaps that's one fundamental way to attack a problem that affects millions, one child at a time. Al Roker, NBC News, New York.
We live. Tonight we look at one North Carolina bank that didn't need taxpayer money, but took it anyway in order to make sure that money flows into the U.S. economy. Here's NBC's Roger O'Neill.
Finding answers to the big housing mess still seems pretty blurry.
Are they more clear on one or more clear on two?
But a small-town banker in North Carolina is focusing on a plan for new home buyers,
Here's A
which could be 2020.
and B.
It's a really simple plan.
Kim Price says he'll use that federal TARP money for what it was intended for.
We can use that money to fund these loans at lower interest rates to help move this economy and help move these houses, help these builders.
Price is a community banker, Citizens South in Gastonia, an old textile town in the shadows of Charlotte. Like most of the nation's 8,000 small, locally owned banks, Citizens is not in any trouble. Less than 1% of its loans are in default.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Have a good day.
Community bankers like to say they know their customers by name, whereas at a big bank, you're just a number.
Price says he's proud to continue his bank's 105-year-old conservative philosophy.
I just wanted to be a community banker. I saw them as a child when I grew up. They were the respected people.
He's a boys and girls club kind of guy. No chauffeurs, no jets. And relishes spaghetti night at home.
Dinner time, wash your hands.
The Price plan offers 3.5% interest for the first 2 years of a 30-year mortgage. And all closing costs are paid by builders.
If I can sell this house, I can pay off a loan and start another house.
The first house sold this week. It's been suggested rather than tongue-lashing the nation's big bankers who made bad decisions, Congress should start listening to small bankers with good ideas. The Kim Prices, who have not lost the trust of customers they know by name. Roger O'Neill, NBC News, Gastonia, North Carolina.
But the story tonight is about the magical power of a mirror on the wall.
You guys are super smart.
It was a simple thing, a competition for the best bulletin board during Black History Month. And because of the profound impact that the election of President Obama has had on this school, one teacher had an idea. Among all the prominent African Americans, put the president at the kids' level.
Barack Obama.
Then put a mirror there with the words, "Now do you see what you can be?" He did. It had the intended effect.
I thought of the kids, we always tell them to dream big. Right. And then the mirror, I said that, okay, let them look in the mirror and see that, okay, this is who I am now, but no matter what, I can accomplish anything. despite who I am.
And the kids, these 4-year-olds, have so far seen an astronaut, a singer, a boxer,
firefighter,
and more than one police officer staring back in the mirror. One parent was so moved by the experience, she decided to go back and get her high school diploma, even though it was designed to let the little guys dream of big things, just like the president did.
Looking into the mirror, they see themselves, and they don't see Barack Obama. They don't see Maya Angelou. They don't see Oprah Winfrey. They see themselves. And if they see themselves, they can just decide that, oh, I can accomplish anything I dream. I can be anyone who I want to be. This one little boy, he passed and he's like,
I want to be an astronaut.
And that just hit me. That hit me. To me, that was like just winning the lotto.
The magical power of a mirror on the wall in a school in Washington, D.C. We are back with our series of reports on those who are doing good things for other people, good things in this bad economy. And since asking you to send us your stories, we have been inundated. Truth is, we could dispatch 100 camera crews a day and never catch up with all the good stories you've sent in to us. We have picked out some favorites, like this email from Dottie in Maryland, who writes, I was driving through Delaware, where there are many toll roads. As I pulled into one to pay up, the lady grinned at me and said, your toll has been paid for you by the car in front of you. It was only a $2 toll, but what a jolt of joy that it gave. I had the money ready, so I passed it on to the car behind me, and she happily cooperated. I hope it kept going until it found someone who really needed it. Thank you for doing this. Then there's the email we received from Abby in Atlanta. She told us the story of a man who provides the most simple form of service. He's in it for his own reasons, and he has his own way of doing it. And it's important, we thought, that you hear his story, as told tonight by NBC's Ron Mott in Atlanta.
I'm going to let you sit behind me today.
At 75, Bob Langley's long retired, but still doing the most rewarding work of his life.
Let me tell you, I meet wonderful people. I get as much out of it or more than they do.
For the past 15 years, he's driven cancer patients like Carolyn Ellison to and from treatments in suburban Atlanta.
The greatest person that I've ever met is Bob. He's always so kind and just so pleasant.
Part therapist, part jokester.
Tina say you're good at what you do.
I got him fooled.
Langley's job is to keep the mood light.
He's sympathetic to what we've been going through, and he keeps me laughing, which means a lot.
It means a lot to Langley, too. His second wife, Gladys, died from cancer in 1992.
I got to thinking, what in the world can I do to help somebody else? Because we had so much help. Family and friends and neighbors and co-workers. They just came from everywhere and helped us whenever she was sick.
He honors her memory by using her retirement money to buy gas, as much as $800 a month, occasionally getting a freebie himself.
I'd like to give you this and thank you for doing such a great job.
This day, a cold drink and a full tank on the house.
Langley's travels take him well beyond just down the road a piece. In an average week, he'll put 1,000 miles on the odometer, never once showing any signs of wear, his riders say.
Take it from me, he's a fantastic man. If I was 20 years younger, I'd run off with him myself.
Hey, Abby.
How are you, Bob?
Nightly news viewer Abby Brunks told us about Langley, a man she'd never met.
He's somebody I'll never forget. He gives and he gives effortlessly.
And he plans to keep up those efforts another quarter century.
I've decided that the year 2033, I'm going to give it up. That's when I'll be 100. We ready to go?
Ready to go.
Okay. A drive to help until Father Time tells him to park it. Ron Mott, NBC News, Atlanta.
Making a Difference. Brought to you by Nicoderm CQ.
We're back now with tonight's installment in our series of reports. We asked for stories of the good that we know is going on everywhere in this bad economy, and we have been inundated with responses and viewer reaction. Emails like this one from Jennifer, who writes, "The worsening economy merely put alcohol on an open wound in the already hurting city of Richmond, Indiana. Yet the owners of a small wedding and prom dress shop donated several $1,000s worth of dresses to the local high school to give to girls who would not be able to afford one this year. These women should be recognized for their generosity and spirit lifting in this time of economic downturn." Bethany writes us from Bristol, Tennessee. "My mom works for a nationwide insurance company. Her clients are losing their jobs and are unable to make their monthly payment. On a couple of accounts, my mom has paid their balance and simply listed in the comments, 'paid by an angel.' So the customer won't know that she was actually the one who actually paid it. In these hard times, every little bit helps." And a nightly news viewer from Alabama, Janet Teal, sent us this next story. This is happening in a town that's about 2 hours away from the scene of last night's awful tragedy in Alabama. But this is a story about something good, a one-man effort to stimulate the economy. His story of making a difference from NBC's Michelle Kosinski.
Brewton, Alabama, is one of those small southern towns bursting with azaleas and history. But all is not perfect. Today's economy has swept in with layoffs and worries.
From here on out, it should either be the $5.
That's when Danny Cottrell, owner of a busy pharmacy, had an idea.
When he first told us we had a mandatory store meeting, I kind of break out in hives.
They expected pink slips, but were handed money. Hundreds of dollars each, $16,000 total.
You know, for somebody to just give you $700 for no reason is just, it's overwhelming.
Danny also gave them 2 rules. Spend it locally and give 15% to charity. To Bobby Edwards, who actually retired but keeps showing up for free. That's just the kind of place this is.
My 15% I paid for a little guy's medicine that came in the other day.
I asked them not to save it and not to pay your bills off with it. So they started shopping with a vengeance.
And spend it they did. About 2/3 of those $2 bills have already been put right back into this century-old downtown and spent thoughtfully. One man needed 2 mattresses, so he bought 1 in each shop.
We got a stack of them, Danny.
A windfall in $2 bills that Danny specially ordered from his bank so they'd remind people to keep giving something back.
Okay, Miss Henderson, there are your $2 bills, and spend them in Brewton.
It gives people hope in humanity, actually.
I wanted to help my employees, I wanted to help the town, and I wanted to help some people in need, and I think we've managed to do all that.
A one-man stimulus plan.
Hey, Mr. White, how you doing?
$2 at a time. Michelle Kosinski, NBC News, Brewton, Alabama.
Making a difference. Brought to you by Vesicare.
We are back with our week-long series of reports on those who are making a difference by doing good things in everyday life in this country during these very tough economic times. As you may know, we asked all of you for story ideas, and you more than came through with emails like this one from Teresa in Minnesota. In the grocery line, an envelope was passed from person to person. When it came to me, I saw the message on it. There is $50 in this envelope for your groceries. Take it if you need it or pass it on. I passed it on and I watched it go through the line, but what struck me most was not that people passed it on, but some actually added money to it. Thank you for adding this piece. It's inspiring. As is this from Dennis in Clearwater, Florida. The owner of our company sends personnel to work in soup kitchens and homeless shelters. Rather than lay workers off or reduce their hours, he sends them into the community at full pay on his dime. If more companies took this tack, our world would be much better off. And there's tonight's feature story. It came from nightly news viewer Morgan Mead. It's about a quiet one-man operation in a great New England town, Gloucester, Mass., where money is tight and nobody is just skating through life, though this one man thinks they should be able to. His story tonight from NBC's Rahema Ellis.
Gloucester, Massachusetts is a small seaport town with a lot of hard workers. And Charlie Olson is one of them. He's a builder by trade, but his passion is skating.
We're going to go fast, right?
Like a lot of kids in town, Charlie grew up on the ice, an often expensive pastime.
That's a boy. Nice.
So 3 years ago, he started collecting skates at garage sales.
It was so annoying to be an old hockey player and see these 25-cent, 50-cent skates sort of there. It just seemed like they needed to be rescued.
Charlie did that.
Let's do our speedy.
Getting his daughter on skates and giving other kids an edge too, for free.
It was fun if there's 2 or 3 or 5 kids that get skates that didn't have them before. That's all I was ever assuming it would be.
Charlie wanted to get kids on ice, and he has, but he doesn't advertise that he's got free skates. The news goes out into the community the old-fashioned way, word of mouth, neighbor to neighbor. Jill Buchanan has 2 growing kids, so to save her hard-earned money, she turned to Charlie.
These are the classic passed-down skates.
We'll borrow them for a season, and then when we're done with them, we'll pass them back in. It's just a nice kind of neighborly thing to do.
Rink manager J.D. McEachran says Charlie's giving is right on time.
The economy says it's going to be a little tight. Charlie comes along, here's the skates, here we go.
Back at Charlie's garage.
Oh, yeah.
Your bicycles in here, too.
Got the bicycles, yeah.
You're not giving those away, are you?
Maybe that will be next. That's very funny, yeah.
Keeping a little joy in kids' lives when they need it most. Rahima Ellis, NBC News, Gloucester, Massachusetts.
Making a Difference. Brought to you by Nicoderm CQ.
Now, tonight's installment in our series of reports, we ask for stories of good things we know are going on in this bad economy, and we've been bowled over by the response and reaction. Emails like this one. Ken in Georgia writes, "My barber Larry has been giving free haircuts to those who cannot afford them as they're preparing to go on job interviews. He is extremely modest, but those in need know they can go to Larry for help." Another viewer in Grand Rapids, Michigan wrote, "We all know the hardship Michigan endures these days, and I would like to report a huge act of kindness. The owner of multiple apartment complexes is allowing the residents who are unable to pay their rent to volunteer hours at a nonprofit organization. People are allowed to work for half their monthly rent, which brings us tonight to another story. A story sent to us by Jennifer Seiler of Edgewater, Maryland. Successful women extending a helping hand to the girls in their community and making a difference. Here's NBC's Amy Robach.
I'm cute, pretty, and intelligent.
They're bright, they're bubbly, and they have the world in front of them.
I love your picture.
A tough economy and the equally tough streets of inner-city Baltimore makes life difficult for these girls as they move on to middle school.
The majority of the girls come from communities, high crime, a lot of single mothers. They want the best for their daughters, but they frankly just don't have the time, the money, the resources, the connections, and that's where we come in.
If there's any way they can help me give her a better education, a better life per se, I'm all for that.
My Sister's Circle paves the way for that better life. This program helps young girls who have the drive, but perhaps not the opportunity to stay in school, instead thrive in school, keeping them off the streets of East Baltimore. Heather Harvison matches students with accomplished women, and what's significant, their mentors will stay with them for at least 3 years.
Just being involved in Sister Circle, period, has changed my whole life completely.
17-year-old Candace Handy lost her brother TJ to street violence in 2006.
On the surface, I think that I appeared to be happy, but I really wasn't.
Hunter Haynes has stood by Candace for the past 7 years and has watched her grow from a shy girl to a confident high school senior fielding multiple college scholarships.
If I can make one person's life significantly better while I'm here, then my life will have been as full of purpose as I could ever expect.
I think I have the best mentor in the world. She means
It's a person, not a project. It's a relationship, and that's why we believe in investing long term in these young women.
Those are from your fellow sisters. An investment that benefits an entire community, one child at a time. Amy Robach, NBC News, Baltimore.
And we want to thank you for the thousands of comments you, our viewers, have sent us this week. If you've missed any of our Making a Difference reports, you can see them online, along with more video at nightly.msnbc.com.
Finally tonight, opening up a box of controversy, a cookie box. It's an annual rite for Girl Scouts selling cookies to make money for the organization and to help a troop win some pretty fabulous prizes. But one Scout's unique cookie sales pitch has crumbled in a very big way, as we hear from NBC's Norah O'Donnell.
Hi, I'm Wild Day Freeborn, and I need you to buy some cookies because I'm trying to sell 12,000 to help my troop go to summer camp.
This 8-year-old Girl Scout is one tough cookie.
And also, it's not just because of summer camp. Selling cookies will help girls across the nation.
After knocking on doors, she decided she could sweeten sales by setting up shop online. But some Girl Scouts thought she had an unfair advantage and complained. And Wild Freeborn was asked by her local chapter to take her video off YouTube.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, this infraction is a...
Right now, it's an infraction.
The cookie controversy helped land Wild Freeborn on the Today Show.
You wanted to go out and sell 12,000 boxes.
That is true.
And is sparking a debate about whether this 97-year-old organization is discouraging entrepreneurship.
We have a rule that says we are not going to do it just now until we can ensure that we have the right tools and technologies in place to make it safe and fair.
It also raises another question for the Girl Scouts organization. With membership down 8% over the past 10 years, can the Girl Scouts update their image for the 21st century?
We don't only just make s'mores and sing songs. You know, we do many other things that people don't even know about.
It is true that the Girl Scouts is already changing.
All right, good job, good job.
It's not just badges anymore, it's blogs. The Girl Scouts have designed the social networking website LMK, shorthand for Let Me Know.
We're going to where the girls are, and they're in new and different places.
And different is exactly what Wild Freeborn was trying to do.
Have you sold more cookies now in your local community as a result of all this attention?
Yeah.
In fact, she's not only sold more cookies, her dad says she's close to her sales goal to send her entire troop to camp.
You gonna sell 12,000?
Probably.
And the Girl Scouts online sales ban?
Buy cookies.
It's about to crumble.
Very yummy.
Norah O'Donnell, NBC News, Washington.
We are still eager here to hear your stories about those who are doing good things for others during this bad economic time. They are stories like the one Vicky wrote to us from Missouri. Dave Sinclair, she writes, the owner of auto dealerships in St. Louis, has hired 12 people, not because he needed help, but because so many people are unemployed. It was the right thing to do. He has challenged other companies to do the same. This is just one of many nice things he has done to inspire and help the St. Louis area through the years. And about the story we aired here last week about the diner in Denver where you can pay if you can and you eat free if you need to, we got this. I'm a teacher at St. Christopher School in Tonawanda, New York. Your report about making a difference has affected my students. They are inspired to reach out to others and are doing things in their community. They even wrote to the cafe and a note of thanks and donated money to the cafe. What a great way to show what happens when people choose to make a difference. That cafe in Denver is one of the stops we make tonight as we revisit some of the places we saw and people we met in last week's series of reports. Stories, again, submitted by our viewers. And wait till you see the generosity people have shown these already good causes. Our report from correspondent Roger ONeill.
Their hands serve food to empty bellies, hand out $2 bills, drive the sick to get healthy.
It gives me a purpose in life.
Their hearts steady slippery paths, guide young minds.
These girls need someone who will listen to them.
Helping not because they have so much, but so many have so little.
Thank you very much.
Good deeds don't need rewards, but good deeds are contagious. The same So All May Eat Cafe in Denver received more than 4,000 emails and $20,000 in donations.
It's incredible. It means that we'll continue to feed people.
It's believed Sir Winston Churchill said, "You make a living by what you get, you make a life by what you give."
With so many out of work, giving, not in dollars but in time, is one of the ironic twists of this recession. A flood of volunteers, life building.
Wow, you are really getting good.
Barbara Pardon saw the smiles Charlie Olson was bringing with old ice skates. So she dug into her closet and found an old pair, so more can smile.
Everybody has the power to give in any little way. Make life better. Just make a little day a little nicer for somebody.
Strangers are getting on the road with Bob Langley, gas money for driving cancer patients to treatment.
Money.
A stranger is sending a donation to the Hope Place in Alabama, inspired by the $2 bill pharmacist, who asked employees to send some of their bonus bills to charity. Inspiring stories, uniquely human.
When we see people do beautiful actions, virtuous deeds, it affects us, it moves us, and it makes us want to do the same.
There have been dozens of calls to do what My Sister's Circle is doing in Baltimore. Women paving the way for young girls to a better life, not with money, but commitment. Tough times, you bet, but with helping hands and big hearts, hope. Roger ONeill, NBC News, Washington.
And we want more. Please keep your ideas coming to our website. That's nightly.msnbc.com. We promise to keep reading the stories you submit, and some of them will air on this broadcast.